Welcome to TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John, that's my cohort and commentary Ashton, and this is our NXT review. And we got out of that post-takeover lull. The gears are clicking and turning again as we march forward to the next NXT TakeOver special, which I believe is said to take place in Texas. So I guess you could call it TakeOver Texas for the time being. And this episode of NXT, it was a fun outing. We got some new developments with SAni that I'm not as upset with them as I thought I'd be, seeing them play out on TV. The women's division continues to develop intrigue, and we even got to watch in full the NXT Championship match that took place between Samoa Joe and Shinsuke Nakamura in Osaka, Japan this past Saturday. A great bout that we'll talk about in a little bit. So on the whole, not a bad episode of NXT. Again, some great announcements. We know what to anticipate in the future, but that's really what I'm more looking forward to is the future. This seemed like a place setter more than anything else. Ashton, what do you think of tonight's episode?
I definitely agree. It was very much setting things up for the future rather than actually doing cool stuff on this show, which is kind of, it's kind of the point that's kind of what you can expect from NXT. They used to kind of do what Lucha Underground does now, where they didn't have pay-per-views, so every show kind of felt like it could be a pay-per-view. But now with the live special format, they always build up to those, and they always deliver, so that's awesome. And this episode of NXT was a lot of filler because, like you said, really the whole point of the show was Joe versus Nakamura in Osaka, which obviously we got to see at the end of the show, and setting up sort of what the championship pictures would be going forward and leading up to San Antonio.
Absolutely, brother. So with that said, let's get right into our first segment, Heat of the Night. Again, this is kind of a table setting episode, so not really much I can pick apart here. I really liked a lot of table setting that they did, to be fair. Just really wasn't anything that popped, but no complaints here for now. What about you?
Oh, yeah. I don't know if you want to call it a nitpick or a Heat of the Night or whatever, but why the hell is Percy Watson on commentary?
You know what? I'm actually surprised that's the gripe that you had, because I guess I wasn't too big of a fan of his when he was in the ring, and I guess he'll do fine on commentary. I actually thought he did a good job for his first night, but I'm guessing you feel like his real value is being an in-ring performer, right?
No, I just don't think he's that good at anything. I don't know why they rehired him only to put him on the booth.
Oh, okay, so this is just more of a, like, why is this happening kind of thing. He really has nothing to offer.
Yeah, why do they keep on bringing back former wrestlers only to do commentary rather than just hiring professional commentators?
Hey, man, I don't know. Hopefully Percy, kind of grows in the role. Again, I didn't really think it was that bad on his first night. Not amazing either, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying, like, oh, he's God's gift to the announce desk. But hopefully we'll see him kind of move in a positive direction as the weeks go forward. But I can see where you're coming from. I mean, look, it's the same way, right? When we talk about people that write pro wrestling, I mean, why not just get wrestling fans instead of these people that only know soap operas or this and that? Like, get people that know how to do what they're doing. That's why I feel like Mauro Ranallo was such a catch for the WWE, because he had so many years doing the broadcasting for MMA and everything that it seemed like a seamless transition for him, especially because he was a big fan of the product. Why not get more of that rather than thinking, well, rather than spend the money, why don't we just move some talents around a little bit? It just kind of smacks of laziness to me in a way. So
yeah, it's just weird because it kind of gives off the vibe that WWE is like all of a sudden they're trying really hard to work how do I put this, sort of multi-ethnic people into the commentary booths.
Right.
Like they specifically reached out to David Otunga and then Percy Watson to be babyface color commentary on commentary booths. And let's be real, neither one of them are actually good at it, but the WWE keeps them on the booth for the reason that I just listed, because they're trying to look more diverse out in the booth.
Right.
So that you don't just, like, every time they show the booth, it's just a sea of white.
Which, again, I mean, it goes back to the laziness point, because you can't tell me, and certainly nobody can tell me with a straight face that is, that there aren't any qualified commentators, whether of color or play-by-play, of other ethnicities. So
yeah, and the thing is, they are literally hiring Steve Corino to be a trainer, but he's one of the best commentators on the planet right now.
Oh, yeah. I honestly was shocked when I read that. I'm like, wait a minute. You've got Steve Corino now officially on your dime. You got him away from ROH, and you're not even using him for what he's really established his name for in his later years. Are you shitting me? Like, oh my God, WWE, you couldn't hit the blind side of a freaking barn. Unbelievable.
It's pretty ridiculous. Yeah. But that's my big complaint for the night, is that Percy Watson just makes no sense. Like, the thing is, first of all, I'm just going to say it straight up. I don't think that he is a particularly good wrestler, but at the same time, they fired him however many years ago, and now they're bringing him back not to wrestle, which is what he clearly wants to do. If you even just listen to him on commentary talking about, man, that brings back so many memories, he clearly misses it.
Right.
But you're having him on commentary, so it's like you're teasing him with it at the same time. Like, it's just bullshit, man. It's awful.
Yeah, you know, it's funny you say that, dude, because, like, immediately when he came out, especially when I had to chuckle because the video package they air for him is just him competing, right? And I'm thinking, like, this kind of smells like Alex Riley a little bit. Like, I don't know if down the road Percy Watson's going to get into confrontation with somebody and they're just going to be like, oh, well, you know, if you want to come back to the ring, you've got to assume these risks, just like they did with Riley. Or if he's just going to be doing this just all the time. But yeah, I can definitely appreciate that sentiment for sure.
Yeah. So
yeah,
that's my big problem with this show. But once you get past that, I don't think I have any really big overarching problems. So we can move on.
All right, so let us get right into our NXT review, and we open up with a pep in our step because we get the new NXT Tag Team Champions introduced, DIY, Gargano and Ciampa, and the crowd loves these guys. Obviously, I think they're so happy that they are the NXT Tag Team Champions. They're obviously happy about it. However, they couldn't really express that. They couldn't get a word in edgewise because right as they're about to open their rounds and address the people since their big win, you know, at TakeOver, the Authors of Pain interrupt. And I like this. I will say, I think this is a very natural build. You got these guys. They won the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic at TakeOver, or in Authors of Pain, I mean. And you've got DIY who won the tag titles at the same event. So it's only natural a collision would occur here. And Paul Ellering more or less says that the NXT Tag Team Championship, that's the next chapter. You know, these guys were undefeated. It's been destruction. And now that's what we're coming for next. And then the Revival's music hits, and they got a nice pop. And they even got the music singing treatment. And I loved what the crowd did with this. Whenever the song went, say yeah, the crowd went, yeah. And, you know, they got into it. So it was a very participatory kind of thing. And the Revival came out and they said if there are going to be any number one contenders for those tag team titles, it's going to be us. And they even point out quite rightly that the only reason AOP advanced in the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic and had the opportunity to win was because of the Revival. Well, the AOP didn't take kindly to that, so they start slowly walking down the ramp. And I love Scott Dawson, just gets it, man. And that's why I'm so glad he's in a great tag team, because if he wasn't, knowing WWE, he probably wouldn't be doing much else for us to really see his genius at work, because he's like looking back at them and looking at the ring, and he's still trying to cut the promo. It's like he's saying to himself, okay, Dawson, you know, the doctor believed in you. I believe in you. You're going to finish this promo, Dawson. You're going to do it. And, like, he's trying to get it out. He's
just
trying
keep
to
talking, and maybe he'll leave you alone.
Exactly. That was a pretty spot-on impression, too. And he's trying to get the words out. And the AOP is just advancing, like, closer and closer. And he's like, and then when they get, like,
take it easy, big fella.
Yeah, I love that. Take it easy. Take it easy. Like, Scott Dawson, you are the best kind of just like sleaze and arrogance. I love you, sir. I'm going to profess that publicly. If you want a Scum Squad shirt, I will hook you up. It is coming. It is coming. And I'm going to tweet one out to him. He is magnificent. But the Revival get shoved for their efforts. And I love this because knowing how much the crowd is into them, you'd think, well, maybe the Revival would feed into that pop, be like, no, we do deserve to be number one contenders, and they'd go after the Authors of Pain. But no, they stay true to the gimmick, brother. They scurry away from AOP, maintaining that heel heat. Plus, it makes AOP look great because you're talking one of the most dominant tag teams in NXT in the Revival, and they're backing away from the Authors of Pain. So how great does that make them look? And Paul Ellering gets the last word. Says, it doesn't matter, like what all goes down, because in the end, the next chapter is the NXT Tag Team Champions. And poor Gargano and Ciampa, who got the initial victory, it was supposed to be their moment, didn't say a single word in this segment, but all the better because they were just wearing confidence on their faces. They're like, all right, we'll take on anybody, just bring it. So I really love this.
Yeah, this is really good. And I also, Ellering has pretty much stopped trying to be vague in any way whatsoever, or trying to kind of keep things speaking in code. He's basically straight up saying the Authors of Pain are going to be champions, and they're going to take it, and you're not going to like it, but it's still going to happen, and you can go screw yourself. And that's really all it comes down to. And I appreciate his bluntness nowadays, which really, he just started talking like a month or two ago, so it's been quite the evolution for him.
Yeah, I wonder if he was only speaking in code because there was a part of him that didn't know how this was going to work out. So, Paul, how do you feel about the Authors of Pain? Oh, crap. These guys are really untested. I really hope I can get my money back if this sucks. We're just going to bring a wave of destruction. Yeah, Paul, that was great. Paul, that was great. All right, let's go, guys. And then as soon as they won and started paying dividends, it's like, yeah, look at my dick. They're unstoppable. Yes. So,
the interviewer asks him, what is up with the Authors of Pain? And he's just thinking to himself, okay, they're authors, so let's go with that. They are going to write the first chapter. Okay, that's good. Now let's crank it up a bit. They are monsters of the destruction of the NXT Tag Team Division. Nailed it.
I just can't wait until he stops giving a shit and they're like, what's up with the Authors of Pain? What's up with the Authors of Pain? They're stock. Let's go, boys. Yeah. But you know what?
Value to the company.
Exactly. We're going over, brother. Oh shit, I did Hulk Hogan. Quick, they're onto us. Oh my god. But no, I'm because I know too. I might as well address the elephant in the room because I don't even know if we're gonna see it. Everybody's been sharing that gif of that freak thing that happened with the Authors of Pain and that other tag team. I guess those local competitors, whatever. It was bad. I'm not gonna lie. That's really bad. But I still like the Authors of Pain, and I'm loving the presentation. And Ellering just makes it work. So I'm still excited about them working with DIY and potentially even the Revival. That match kind of fascinates me with how the Revival work. I think they could give AOP a real run for their money. So actually, no, we're not even gonna see that because of an announcement later. But yeah, I guess we can always dream. But great segment nonetheless.
Yeah. All right. Well. Up next, we went and learned all about our new color commentator, Percy Watson. And just whatever, let's move on. Up next, we had our first match of the night. There were only 3 tonight. This one was No Way Jose and Rich Swann versus Sanity. However, no Sawyer Fulton tonight.
Yes, we can finally talk about this. First and foremost, Ashton, what did you think of this match?
It was all right. It was solid. I feel like Fulton actually did add a lot to the in-ring product with these guys because of his sort of monster factor that none of the other guys in Sanity have.
Yeah.
So the lack of that monster factor, I felt like kind of hurt this match. But Eric Young definitely added to the match his own little twist because he's a technician. He knows what he's doing in there. He's entertaining. But I don't know. I was just a big fan of Sawyer Fulton, so I was really disappointed when I found out that he was leaving.
Certainly. Now, I wonder, because I don't know if this is ever established, is he leaving Sanity because he's done with the company, you think? Or are they just giving him something else to do? That's something.
Based on this match, it seems like they're just replacing him in the faction with somebody that they perceive to be better at what he does than him.
That's really sad, though, because Sawyer Fulton's one of those guys, and again, one of the sentimental reasons we love NXT, or at least when we go in with a developmental mindset, like he's been in NXT for a while. And I'm always excited, whether I'm a fan of a person or not, when they've been there for a while and they finally get like a run. You know, okay, we're going to give you this. How far can you take it down the field? And I thought Sawyer was doing great. Like, again, the only person I ever had a problem with was Nikki Cross, and that wasn't even a big problem. I thought Sawyer was great in the role, so it was kind of disappointing. However, who they're replacing him with, I mean, I don't have any ill will against him either. You know, I do feel bad for Sawyer Fulton, but Sanity as a whole, I think they can maintain my interest. I do agree with you, the match was all right. I did like some of the teamwork between Young and Wolf, like the one powerbomb spot where Swann tried doing a Hurricane Rana, and Wolf held onto him, and then, you know, they kind of do that double team where Young's kind of stomping on him. Everything kind of breaks down towards the end, but then Big Damo makes his presence felt, or at least that's what we know him as. We don't know what his NXT name is going to be. He sends.
Well, they called him Damo.
Oh, they did call him Damo. Okay, and yeah, he sends Jose into the ring post, and then I guess it was Swann, yeah, that got hit with the wheelbarrow neck breaker, if I'm not mistaken.
No, it was Jose.
Oh, it was Jose. I guess they must have shoved him in the ring post and brought him back in the ring. Because then I know Young did finish it with the wheelbarrow neckbreaker finish. Yeah, and they got the pin. So now let me ask you the $1 million question. What do you think about Damo as the new big kind of heavy of Sanity?
Well, I didn't want to actually bring this part up when we kind of spoiled it last week, because I knew that this was the bigger deal than just Fulton leaving. And maybe it's just because of the exposure I've had to him, but from what I've seen of Damo, yes, he is a very impressive athlete, but no, I'm not a fan.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. You know,
I don't think he sucks. I want to make that clear. Like, I don't think he's horrible or anything. And NXT does a pretty good job of making things like this work, so I'm guessing they're going to make me a fan of Damo's, but what I have seen of him, I've not really gotten invested in anything he's done.
Right. And that's fair. You know, that's certainly fair. You know, having the same exposure as you did, because we both watched that first episode of WCPW, or at least most of it, you know, he wasn't bad. I don't really remember him being a remarkable promo or anything. I feel like he was just kind of there on that front. I feel like he does have a good look for the group, to be fair. And yeah, I'm willing to give this an open mind. I did like the whole Fulton's jacket playing a role kind of symbolically, like even Damo raising it up and then placing it back down on the ground and just walking off. Like, you know, good vibes there. We'll see how it goes. It sucks, man, because Sanity, I was so hyped for them with the vignettes. And then I remember at one TWitWoW where you actually told me who was in it, but we didn't want to spoil it for everybody else. And I'm like, oh, that sounds unique. And we were talking about them winning all the titles, and we had like all this like hype for them. And I feel like the hype has just really died, which is sad, man. That is so sad, because you're talking like.
And I mean, really, if we're being truthful, I think that Fulton was the person that I was the most excited for being in Sanity, because it's like, you know, Eric Young, I kind of saw as like the leader, the veteran with experience that can kind of teach the younger guys. Wolf was kind of like the mid-card guy who can eat a lot of pins and kind of be the jobber. And then I kind of saw Fulton as like the Batista of the group, where like he might be a tag team champion with Wolf. He might be a mid-card champion, but at the end of the day, when this group ends, I feel like it's going to be a launching pad for him to be a main eventer. And now that's not going to happen. So it's disappointing.
Yeah, it really is. Granted, there was something else that happened with Sanity that did get my interest a little bit. I'm like, okay. But yeah, I mean, even me, because I'd still consider myself a fan of Sanity. And hey, brother, if nothing else, we will always have that theme. That theme is fucking amazing.
It is pretty freaking awesome.
So I'm just like writing my love letter goodbye to Sanity. I loved you. I don't know what happened to you, but we'll always have your theme. But yeah, I'll see what happens with them. But even me, when I feel like I'm so into these guys, it's like,
you can take my monster, you can take my interest, but you can never take that theme, though.
You're so right. But yeah, I'm gonna try and stay interested. I mean, if I can, I can, and I don't really know what to tell anybody. And my interest is still there. It just sucks the hit that they took. But yeah, Sanity wins, and we can move on, because yeah, good match, but not really much more you could say than that.
Okay, then we got in Regal's office, I believe it was Dasha Fuentes who asked him about the tag division, and I might have missed something here. John, did you catch what the matches are going to be here?
Okay. I know. Jesus. Andrade Cien Almas, I think, is taking on No Way Jose.
No, not the number one contender matches for the World Championship. There's going to be a tag team match on January 11th, and the winner of that will take on, I don't know who. It's two different matches involving the Revival, DIY, and AOP, but I don't know who's facing who when.
Okay, January 11th is DIY versus the Revival, and unfortunately that match
That's
right
what I
now,
thought.
yeah, unfortunately that match right now, and I hope it changes, has no stip, which kind of disappoints me.
Yeah, it
but
does,
then
because the winner, it would be a tag, or you mean a stip as in like no DQ, whatever.
yeah, exactly. Because then
it is for the championship, and the winner will defend against the Authors of Pain at TakeOver San Antonio.
Yeah, it's crazy that Authors of Pain get the bye to TakeOver. I find that interesting rather than the Revival being the former champions. But hey, I dig
Maybe
it.
that's what the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic earned them.
Maybe. And plus, it's a fresh matchup regardless, so I really like that.
Yeah.
And then I apologize, partner, for jumping the gun because those were the tag matches. But then Ty Dillinger comes in, and the little bitch bag was about to do something right for once because he said, "Oh, you know, Mr. Regal, I said if I couldn't beat Joe that maybe I don't belong in NXT. So I was here to say, well, actually, Ty and Regal, of all the times for you to be a proper Englishman or not be a proper Englishman and interrupt, God damn it, Regal." He's like, I wanted to inform you that starting next week, there's going to be a number one contenders tournament that I'm starting. There's going to be 4 matches, 4 singles matches to be specific, and the winners of those matches will go on to a fatal 4-way. And the winner of that fatal 4-way will be the number one contender for the NXT championship. And he wants Ty to be in it because I know you've had a rough go of it lately, but I believe in you. God damn it. And the people believe in you. So what do you say? Yes, I'd love to be in it. Okay, so what did you want to talk to me about? Nothing at all. Lost your nerve, didn't you, you son of a bitch?
I loved that, though, dude, because it was like he was ready to give up on himself, but then he found out that Regal believes in him, and it re-sparked his belief in his own ability.
Oh my God. You know, you want to have a good cry over it? Jesus.
Maybe? Don't make fun of me.
Look, it's too late for that, okay? I'm sure other people in chat will probably be joining me in a few minutes. But more importantly, okay, Ty Dillinger is still a loser. He's only a few notches above Kalisto. Like, who the hell does he think he is, thinking he can win this tournament? It's just, it's not going to happen. He should have just given up.
How many notches would you say he is above Kalisto?
2? I mean, I'm not going to say 10. I'm not going to do that. So,
well, no, that just means Kalisto's an 8, obviously.
Right, which I mean that is yeah. But the point is, Ty, I don't know why you didn't throw in the towel, brother, but you know what? It's okay because I do know just from the graphic that the glorious Bobby Roode is in the tournament, and he's probably going to humiliate you again because Canada loves him more than you. You're a disgrace. So, anything you'd like to say about Ty being in the tournament? Want to sigh some more, or
can we move on?
Okay, that's fine. We can move on. Oh yeah, by the way, interesting lingering shot of Regal putting on his brass knucks. I was a bit weirded out by that. I'm like,
that was interesting. I wonder if that. Well, this isn't Lucha Underground, so it probably won't lead to anything. But if it was Lucha Underground, it totally would lead to something.
Dude, I would love and my last kick to the ribs if Ty actually did win that fatal 4-way, and then Regal comes out. Oh, Ty, you actually have one more match against me. Regalplex 3 count. Regal goes to TakeOver.
Oh, and gets to face Joe. Maybe if Joe has the title by then. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a lot of maybes, and for good reason. But yeah, we can move on.
All right, up next we had this segment that you were referring to earlier involving Sanity, where the backstage interviewer is trying to get a word from Eric Young. Eric, can you tell me what just happened out there with Damo? And he just walks by, and then Alexander Wolf just walks by, and then Nikki kind of starts to walk by, but then she stops, and out of the corner of her eye and out of the sort of side view of the camera, you can see the NXT Women's Championship and Nikki smiles at it. But then Asuka grabs it from behind and holds it up. And we get a pretty cool little stare down here. So do we think that this match is actually going to happen at TakeOver San Antonio, or do we think they're going to hold off until the pay-per-view or the takeover that happens on WrestleMania weekend?
Here's my thing. I actually thought it might happen on NXT TV because there's such a big gap between the TV like product and the next takeover because it's the day before Rumble. And I'm still thinking Texas. I've still got my money on Ember Moon versus Asuka personally. If not that, then maybe a triple threat, Ember Moon, Asuka, and Nikki Cross, because we really haven't had any multi-person matches like on a takeover, it feels like, in a while for championships. So maybe they'll do that. But yeah, I think Nikki Cross and Asuka will actually happen on an episode of NXT. I just couldn't tell you when. Maybe the same January 11th episode. Maybe they'll make it like this big deal. So yeah. But great segment, though. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the stare down. I even like Corey's soundbite about it, where like the eyes of Ember and Nikki Cross, staring at each other could melt the earth. So he's like really saying like, yeah, there is really a lot of tension here. And I enjoyed the moment. I thought it was great.
Well, you had a little bit of a Freudian slip there because you said the eyes of Ember and Nikki Cross when you meant Asuka. But regardless, Ember Moon is in action up next against none other than Princess Kimberly.
Oh, dude, so happy to see her. So happy to see her because she was another one where my introduction to her came from Force One. And since those days, she's built such an indie profile for herself that to see her on NXT was so cool.
Former Chikara Grand Champion, actually.
Yeah, dude, that's amazing for her. And you know something? I liked how she worked in this match. Yes, it was more or less a squash. We all knew Ember was going to win, but I felt like, Kimber took her bumps well. And, maybe one day we'll see her in NXT again because she could be one hell of a heel for that roster. So, great stuff.
Yeah. I liked her work here. This was a really quick match, a pretty solid match. But at the end of the day, let's just say Kimberly got eclipsed.
Oh, he did the thing. Yeah, Ember gets the win.
That reminds me of Legend of Korra. Do the thing.
Yeah, that show's over now, and it's never coming back. But on a lighter note, Ember Moon.
I thought you liked that show.
I did, but I love shanking you emotionally even more. Ember Moon continues to build her moment right in the childhood. Continues.
Solar plexus, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, how you breathing, asshole? I know Ember Moon continues to build momentum. I am trying to be serious right now. We are doing a podcast. And yeah, sooner or later she's gonna be
your face.
Oh, of course you will. You know what? You wish. I wish a motherfucker would. Yeah, podcast my fucking face. Yeah, so Ember Moon's looking great. Unlike your face right now, because my God, I just took the wind out of your sails. Out of your full sails, am I right? Oh! Shit. I don't know what happened here, but yeah, Ember Moon won, so we can move on.
Okay. Well, up next was the announcement that these number one contendership matches, including the one involving Ty Dillinger, would be happening next week. And the 4 matches are Ty Dillinger versus Eric Young, No Way Jose versus Andrade Cien Almas, Roderick Strong versus Elias Sampson, and Oni Lorcan versus John.
Glorious Bobby Roode.
There you go.
Yeah, I stuck that landing. Actually,
yeah, you did. I love the finger snapping to figure out who I was talking about.
Hey, dude, that's kind of the tick I've developed, no lie. But regardless, Roderick Strong being in this tournament excites me. Because, yeah, he needs to be doing fucking singles. That man is magnificent.
And by singles, you mean literally everything, including singles.
Exactly. Because who can get enough Roderick Strong? Idiots, that's who. I'm so clever. But yes, that's...
Oh, you're just so much smarter than the average wrestling fan.
I feel like we both are. That's kind of our thing. And then again, have you seen the bar?
I was being snarky, damn it.
Well, I was being truthful. Pretty much the same thing when you're us. But
hashtag Johnny Scumbag.
Johnny Scumbag. Oh yeah. So what tournament match are you most looking forward to? I mean, outside of the actual Fatal 4 that's going to happen.
Definitely Roderick versus Elias.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting because I feel like they can both throw some sick knees. And I love the way Elias works.
I mean, really, if you look at it, those are the two freshest guys in this tournament. Like, Jose Almas, I think, is an interesting story. I'm kind of hoping he beats Jose, even though I would probably be happy if Jose won that. But that's another one that I'm really looking forward to. Dillinger Young, it seems pretty obvious that Dillinger is going to win that to continue this story. And then Lurkin Rude, again, Rude is obviously winning that. So the two more interesting matches are Jose versus La Sombra, Andrade Cien Almas, and Roddy Strong versus Wyatt Sampson. And you know what? Now that I think about it, I think Jose Almas might actually be the match that I'm looking most forward to, even over Strong Sampson, just because, like, Sampson's good, but then Roderick Strong is great, and I know that he's going to be awesome, but, like, Sampson's not quite on that level, whereas both Almas and Jose are great, I think.
You know what I think is smart, too, at least for the moment, because, you know, we all know that Roderick Strong from PWG, he can be one hell of a heel, but I think it's so smart to me that they're starting him off babyface, and what better way to get that instant babyface reaction than putting him across from Elias Sampson? Because it's not enough now that you're like this big indie name, but you're putting him right off the bat against the most hated person in NXT. And the great thing is, because Roderick Strong's offense is so exciting and everything, that's why I think it's smart to start him off as babyface. Then when you give him more of a character and stuff, then I'd let the chains off and let him just be a heel and just own that shit. But yeah, I think it's really smart how they're using Strong. I agree with you. I love that Almas is in this thing, and I actually hope he wins. Now that he's heel, I am all about that shit. Seriously, like, give him that freaking win next week. And yeah, the Fatal 4-Way. I'm thinking the Fatal 4-Way will be Strong, Almas, Rude, Dillinger. So you get two heels, two baby faces. I think it's going to be one hell of a Fatal 4-Way. So I'm excited.
That makes sense. I could go for that.
Yeah, well, I mean, your face makes sense, so that's not surprising. Anything else you want to say about this?
No, sir, but then our main event of the evening was the taped Osaka match between Samoa Joe and Shinsuke Nakamura, and we have another title change. Nakamura is champion again.
Yeah, you guys remember when being a two-time NXT champion was really this prestigious honor that seemed untouchable? Well, two guys have done it now, but at least they're the caliber of Joe and Nakamura, so I guess I can't bitch too much. But let's address the two big talking points to come out of this, Ashton, because that's the only fun I can really see about this, because as far as the match goes, well, yeah, I mean, two in my mind at least. Because, I mean, as far as the match goes, the match was fine, of course. You know, it wasn't a bad match. It's just, what else can you really say about Joe Nakamura? These guys know how to work. Nakamura's a freaking genius. I loved how they did. I did
like that Joe kept going back to the well with trying to use the steps.
Yes, great narrative device there in the match, given the history that that's had. And on Nakamura's side, there was a submission exchange in this match, and I loved how Nakamura had a triangle at one point, but what made his unique is he actually was forearming Joe in the head while he had the hold in. I like that. So it's like Nakamura is using every available resource to hurt Joe as much as possible, which really, again, furthers the animosity of this feud. But all right, let's talk about it. You know, everybody knows Nakamura now, two-time NXT champion. First things first about Nakamura. We look at this tournament. Who do you think he's facing at the next takeover? Because my money's on Rude.
Yeah, I was going to say, probably the winner of the tournament, which means it would probably be Rude. Yeah, because I can imagine it being Cien Almas. So, yeah, it would be Rude.
Oh, man, Cien almost does interest me. But honestly, as much as I love the guy, with how strong Nakamura has been booked, like, and I mean all due respect to Almas because I love the guy to death, but it looks like such a mismatch to me. Like, honestly, I would be thinking, like, wow, a squash match is for the NXT Championship at a takeover. And that's so horrible, and I hate myself for saying it because Almas is so good, and everybody needs to know it. But that's just how untouchable Nakamura is looking right now. Rude, I guess, stands more of a chance because, you know, he's got the whole persona and the wins and everything. So I guess on that front, yeah, it makes sense. But so that's that. I mean, are you excited for the feud? Do you think they can do some kind of magic together? Would you be excited for the takeover match, or is it just kind of there for you because of the whole Nakamura thing?
That's one that I just can't get into. I'm just not into Bobby Roode at all.
Right. And that's fair because, dude, I mean, you've established that from day one. So that's not new. That's not some revelation. I can totally understand that. Bigger thing I want to talk to you about.
That's a great point. Normally we don't really, talk about chat on TwitWoW. We do that more with live reactions. But Draven G made a great point in chat. Nakamura and Rude are going to be the battle of the entrances. These guys always have over-the-top awesome entrances at takeovers, and they're going to be most likely facing each other.
Yeah. Yeah, and dude, honestly, I know you don't care for Rude, but this is a case of like, and honestly, like I do love him, but it's kind of like whatever. Because really, what I care about more is just getting Nakamura out of the freaking main roster. So I'm trying to see the forest for the trees. I would love if Rude went over. I don't even know if he will. He might, but I doubt it.
Yeah.
Other big talking. Yeah, he's just shooting that down. But other big talking point, because already the mill is churning again. Now people are saying that Joe is going to debut at the Rumble. How do you feel about that?
I thought he was going to debut at Survivor Series.
I know. Look, they're always going to pull shit out of their ass. I just always feel like, and me even bringing it, I don't want to make it seem like, oh, I'm putting stock into it, which is why I'm bringing it up. I just always feel like it's nice.
Who I legitimately think will debut at the Rumble?
Who?
Ty Dillinger.
See, but I asked you a little while ago, though, if you thought Ty Dillinger come in at the Rumble, and you said no, you shot that down immediately. So what changed?
Well, the reason that I shot it down immediately was because I was feeling very depressed, and I felt like there's just no way they're going to call him up ever. But now, it's starting to seem like they're realizing how valuable he is. And even if he does end up just being another Dolph Ziggler for the main roster, they love Dolph Ziggler on the main roster. So they're going to love having Dillinger there too.
So, okay, so now, just to be clear, now you are saying yes to Dillinger at Rumble.
Yeah, I am. And especially because there is going to be a takeover the day before Rumble, so they're all going to be in the same city. Yeah, it seems a lot more likely now than it did even a month or two ago.
See, and that's funny because, like, I'm torn as far as Dillinger and the Rumble goes, because if everything pans out and Rude does win this tournament, I may pick Rude at TakeOver. I mean, you gotta wait for that, guys. TakeOver preview and predictions. And I still think the end game.
I don't think Nakamura is coming up to the main roster anytime soon. Like, if they seriously didn't call him up within the first 3 months of him being in the company, they're obviously not in a rush to call him up. So I think it's going to be at least until the post WrestleMania Raw before we see Nakamura on the main roster.
Yeah. And dude, that skepticism, that doubt that you're feeling about the call up is totally understandable. I share it to a degree.
What I could actually see them doing?
What's that?
You know how I've been saying, oh, Sanity is going to hold all the titles at TakeOver Brooklyn 3?
Yeah.
It seems like they're kind of going on the fast track, and I think that exact same thing might end up happening only 4 months earlier at whatever Takeover ends up happening on WrestleMania weekend.
Yeah, I could see that.
They could have Nakamura the world title until then, and then drop it to Eric Young with a bunch of shenanigans from the outside forces. Obviously, you would want Damo and Alexander Wolf to win the tag titles. Nikki wins the women's championship. And then Brooklyn can be Ember Moon beating Nikki for the women's championship. And that would be a big celebration, too.
Dude, you might not be wrong, because already, the fact that they're already kind of teasing Nikki and Asuka when Nikki Cross has been here for pretty much a sneeze and, a cup of coffee. Yeah. And I don't think
they're going to pull the trigger on that immediately. I think that they're going to drag that out a little bit, because it was the furthest thing from subtle. I'm not going to try and say it was a subtle tease, but what it was minor. It wasn't a big deal. It was a simple, stare down. That's really all it was just them staring at each other. There were no words exchanged. There was no real, explicit intent. So I'm thinking they're going to drag it out another few months. And, I mean, if you think about it, WrestleMania is only 4 months away. I think they can drag it out 4 months.
Oh, certainly. I don't really see the difficulty in that at all. But to bring it full circle, as far as Ty Dillinger goes, I still think the end game might, and I want to stress might, be Rude Dillinger for the NXT Championship, with Dillinger finally getting that huge win, and that arena is going to explode if they pull the trigger on that. You kind of get that vibe with the whole Dillinger, you know, we all believe in you kind of thing. And then, well, that belief comes full circle because, well, NXT champion. So I'm not withdrawing my my belief in that just yet. I don't feel like I've really been given a reason to. I mean, yeah, Nakamura being NXT champion again poses a huge problem there because then Rude has to win, and we've already talked about that point to death. So I'm a bit half and half about Dillinger being in the Rumble. Maybe he would be, but he'd remain in NXT because he feels like he has more to do there. That could be a kayfabe thing that they do, or maybe he just won't debut there at all. But as far as Joe goes, honestly, I only wanted to bring it up because I read it today, and I knew that we're going to be seeing this whole title match and all this. I'll believe it when I freaking see it. I don't even really want to dignify it with too much of an analysis. Do I think it would be cool? Abso-freaking-lutely. I would love to see Joe murder people and get that huge pop. But yeah, I've got to see it with my own eyes to really believe it because, again, like you said, they were saying Survivor Series, and then they were saying this. And so it's just like, let's wait and see. But when Joe does get called up, you already know the matches I want, brother. I want Joe versus Cena right off the bat. I think those two could do fucking money together. So,
yeah, I could even see that happening on the Post-Mania Raw. Joe gets called up to SmackDown, and the first thing he does is attack Cena, who obviously, according to my fantasy booking, would be coming fresh off of his 16th world title win at Mania.
Oh my God, that table looks so fucking good to me. Like,
and especially too because guess who else is on SmackDown that Joe could intermingle with?
Well, I mean AJ Styles. Holy shit.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and Dean Ambrose, like, oh my God. And dude, the thing is, like, I'm so excited about this because Joe, I mean, even in the match tonight, Joe has been so freaking good. Like, I don't think he's ever really been hotter. And I just want them to capitalize on it. If they do, great. If not, it's par for the course, really. So not much more you could say than that. With that said, are there any concluding remarks you have about tonight's NXT before we get to our next segment?
Nah.
That was great. All right, high spots, low shots. You know what? I'm gonna say that my low shot is No Way Jose. Because, I mean, him and Swann, they were in a team. It seemed like they had everything under control. They didn't even have to worry about Sawyer Fulton. But then Damo entered the mix. And, yeah, No Way Jose loses again. I'll tell you, Sanity's been a pain in his ass. And they just continue to be. So No Way Jose is my low shot.
I suppose my low shot's going to be Samoa Joe then because he lost his championship that he just won literally like 2 weeks ago tonight.
It hurts, but the heart will go on. My high spot.
Did you just quote Celine Dion?
You know what? I probably did. And you know something? She should be damn grateful that her words came out of my mouth. That's the best her career has ever been. My high spot is to the charity case, Ty Dillinger, because William Regal apparently believes in him, and now he's going to be in this whole NXT Championship tournament, which, hey, I'm not going to be a hypocrite. Let me just say really quickly, kudos to you, NXT, for a creative way to establish a number one contender. I gave Lucha Underground credit for that tonight. I'm going to do the same here on NXT. That's how contenders should be established. So, hey, when they're doing something right, I got to call them out on it. So I just wanted to get that out. Great on NXT. But yeah, Ty Dillinger, the perfect charity case, going to be in the tournament. So he's my high spot.
You know what? You can deride him all you want, but at the end of the day, he still won your high spot, so I'll take it.
Yeah, that's the way not to have any pride. I'm glad to see you're finally learning from me, champ. All right, who's your high spot?
My high spot. Oh God, this is really hard. I think my high spot's going to just have to be Ember Moon because she was awesome tonight. Actually, no. My high spot's actually going to be, I'm going to, again, take an even easier path and just make it Nakamura because he won the title again.
I was even getting ready to say, I can't believe both of us gave Nakamura the snub, and then you're like, wait a minute, I don't have to do this much effort. Nakamura won tonight, and then just went that route, but that's great. You know, he is champion, so I can't even fault it. Like, nobody's going to have a better night than winning the NXT championship.
He won the championship, man.
I'm never getting called up. Yeah. And
oh my God.
You know it's true though, and that's why we laugh so we don't cry. But with that said,
oh God.
If you can hear that, folks, you can actually pinpoint the exact moment the desperation starts choking him to death. So, with that said, guys, you don't have anything else you want to say, right?
No.
Okay, I actually thought you were gonna kind of cry like Tobias Fumke, and I really wanted us to be here for that, but I think you're keeping it together. So, that's unfortunate. All right.
I mean, Tobias Fumke is a mark, so
You're not even wrong. And he blew himself not once but twice. So
I
with
don't even know what I expected.
with that, he was my favorite character on that show and still is. God, I hope they do the rebooted season right next time around. But no more Arrested Development references.
All about money these days. They're gonna screw it up just like they screwed up season 4.
Can't you have hope about anything? Jesus. Like,
what happened to Never Hope?
Look, I mean, you're starting to bum me out. Like, goddamn, man, that's some strong shit. All right, I don't know where this is going. No, I do know where this is going. This has been NXT. Yeah. This has been TWitWoW. You guys, what?
I'm agreeing with you.
You never agree with me in the outro. You know that I'm very sensitive and momentum is everything. God, now I gotta do it again. Okay, stop chuckling over there. Okay. If you stop it right now. This always happens when we go late at night. You always do this. See, I'm just namaste.
I'm good.
Okay, I'm good too. Now let's
seriously say namaste. Like
don't call me out on my things. I have tried to calm down. God. Okay. All right, guys, you know what I'm about to do here, so let's try this again in a peaceful, mature manner. This has been NXT. This has been TWitWoW.
Oh, you blew
What
it.
the fuck? What the fuck?
You can't say, let's do this in a peaceful and calm manner, and then not do Steiner voice. Come on.
You had one job, and that was to shut your fucking whore mouth. And you couldn't do that for 30 seconds. Okay. Are you done? Okay. God, I feel like less of a fuck. Okay, you're done. You're on ice. Okay? All right. This has been NXT. This has been NXT. This has been what the fuck? What the fuck? I had it. We were doing it. People are scared for us right now, okay? People are scared for us right now. Would you keep your fucking shit together? Fuck, I have to pay child support with this shit. Keep it fucking together, okay? God, my wife watches this show, for fuck's sake.
Wait, when did you get married again?
Okay, look, I have a private life, okay? It's not just fan fiction, all right? Maybe if you inquired once in a while, I would let you in. God, see, this is why I talk to Cliff about shit, and he's not even here to see this madness. Okay, I am going to do the outro. Do you have anything you want to say?
Why would I want to say anything?
I don't know, because you've done it the past 3 fucking times already. I'm just making sure you don't have anything you want to say. All right, I think we can do this time. I actually have faith for once. All right. It's your big moment, John. You can do it. This has been NXT. This has been TWitWoW. The best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John. That's my cohort and commentary, Ashton. Guys, be sure to comment, subscribe, and like the video. Remember, the more likes this video gets, the more likely we are to be the top search result for NXT reviews. And when you're the best at what you do, remember, the only place you belong is at the top. So be sure to leave that like. And guys, you already know all the amazing stuff to check out because of my partners' excellent backgrounds. But there are 3 things I'm going to plug. First and foremost, the t-shirts, okay? The I'm a TWitWoW guy and I'm a TWitWoW girl for all of our female fans are still available until December 15th. And that is important. Why, Ashton?
Because December 15th is the last day that you can order these shirts with the least expensive shipping costs and have them still arrive by Christmas Day.
Exactly. So get on that deal, people. That is a steal and the perfect Christmas gift for yourself and for your marquee family that might not actually know what a good wrestling podcast is. You can educate them. You can save them. So be sure to get the shirts. And all right, so I plug that. Next thing I want to plug, Q&A. We do Q&A last Friday of every month. So that means our last Q&A of 2016 will be December 30th. Get your questions in, guys. We already have a good number of questions already, but there is plenty of time. It is December 8th today, so you've got 22 days, over 3 weeks to submit questions if you haven't yet already. You could submit questions on YouTube, in comments. You can tweet them at us. I've got a pinned tweet on my page if you just want to reply to that tweet, or DM me. The Facebook, if you're going to visit the Facebook page, please give it a like when you visit. Give it that little bit of interaction and message a question there. And everybody gets up to 5 questions per Q&A. Does not mean you have to use all 5, but everybody gets a maximum of 5, and you can divvy them up any way you like. Could be all 5 for me and none for Ashton, all 5 for Ashton, none for me, or all 5 for both of us, just as an example of how you can divvy these questions up. So that's Q&A. Get on that. Last thing I want to plug is the Patreon. Go on the Patreon. Check out our pay scale, because you are now able to purchase a live reactions of your choosing, a review of your choosing, or if you so wish, and you wish to be that generous with a donation, you could get both a live reactions and a review. Now, to see what you're paying for, if you want to just get kind of a feel like, is it worth the donation? I wonder how these guys would do a paid review. We actually have one on the channel. Survivor Series 2002 was the first Patreon requested review that we did. I feel like it's going to go down as one of our best reviews, period. I feel like we killed it. I had so much fun. Ashton had so much fun. The chat was popping. It's a great time. So, just check that out. Maybe get a good feel for whether you want to do it or not. And we've got 2 Patreon reviews coming this month. So keep your eye out on that as well. And maybe get in on the fun if you want to. I think it's a great time to be had between us and our audience. So check out the Patreon. With that said, guys, that is it. And we will see you again for our Lucha Underground live reactions, where I'm assuming that Sexy Star is going to be getting a rematch against Johnny Mundo. It is Clash in the Cage for the Lucha Underground Championship, where Sexy Star will have the privilege of losing to Johnny Mundo for a 3rd time. Yeah! So until then, guys, tune in and peace out.